I was raised in a culturally Scandinavian home, and storytelling was always emphasized. And so we would always go to the library. My mom would always have me get books, and I'd read about like the Vikings, Norse mythology, history, all kinds of different things. And apparently I've got a famous relative. I was raised with the knowledge that I'm related to Hans Christian Andersen, apparently. And so, I mean, I didn't do anything for that. I got like an applause for that. I mean, thank you. I will definitely take applause for the genetic fluke of my existence. Thank you. And so I've had a particular love for his stories as well. And there's one here that just breaks my heart. And it strikes me as so beautiful. I hope I don't start sobbing when I say it out loud. The steadfast tin soldier was made from a set of 25 tin spoons, and toward the end of the moldings, there was just room for one leg for him. So he was always standing at attention on one leg, and he was in some kid's room, just some boy's room as a toy. And he was on a shelf just standing there keeping watch. And he looked, and he saw a paper ballerina. And he saw the paper ballerina on the bookcase across from him. And she had this sequin, like this spangle. And he loved her. So he was keeping an eye on her. He was keeping watch. And she was a ballerina, so she was always up on one leg too. And there was this goblin, this evil jack-in-the-box, that was interested in the ballerina, and he was totally not interested in the tin soldier having anything to do with it. And so he warned him, stay away from her. But the tin soldier just ignored him. And he stared at this ballerina who he was loving, beginning to love. And what happened was, probably due to the meddlings of the jack-in-the-box, the tin soldier ends up getting knocked out of the window of the house. And so he goes down into the street, and he ends up in the gutter, and some kids put him in a paper boat, and he's like going in the paper boat, and he goes down into the deep gutter, and he's accosted by a large rat who demands a toll. He manages to get free of that, and he goes out into a canal. He's swallowed by a fish. The fish is caught and then went to the market, and then the fish is cut open, and the soldier comes out, and he's in the same exact house that he started in. And he looks up, and the ballerina's there. And he looked up, and he saw her, and he loved her. And inexplicably, the kid just kind of threw the tin soldier into the fireplace. The fireplace was lit. And then a wind came, and it blew the ballerina into the fireplace. And he melted, and she turned to ash. And then the next day, when the maid cleaned out the fireplace, she saw a tin heart with the sequin melted into it. And I like to think that that's kind of emblematic of my parents who are together again in heaven. And for the longest time I thought, well, what am I? If this story's about them, what am I in this story? And I thought, actually, for a while, maybe I was the wind that blew the ballerina in the fire so they could be together. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But then I realized, and I was talking to somebody about this, and I finally realized that the character, I'm the heart with the sequin. I'm their love left behind. I'm on earth, they're in heaven. Let us not take for granted love in our lives. Let us not take for granted the depths of love we can have for each other. Let us never cease to appreciate God, who gives us the capacity to know perfect union with Him and to be reunited with our loved ones in heaven. And let us appreciate the fruits of our love, our kids, or in our case, our works. Let us appreciate how love can be a mighty creative force in our lives. Because through the vicissitudes of life and on the other side of the suffering, we are at peace. And we know complete and perfect union with God in heaven. In this life, there will always be darkness and light, but light will always have the final say. And so when we search for peace, we will find that peace of Christ that transcends and surpasses wildly all possible understanding. And when we discover that peace, that endless moment, we will be in heaven. This is a piece by McCoy Tyner called Search for Peace.